Is there any questions before I get started?
Just one question.
No, next year I will be attending Michigan State University.
Those simple words uttered by Irvin Johnson in the spring of 1977 were not only music to the ears of Michigan State Spartan basketball fans, but became one of the linchpin moments in college basketball history.
I saw Irvin play up with our players in the upper gym in Jennison Fieldhouse in a pickup game. And I was just amazed because he was telling our players, our college players as a junior in high school, what to do, and they were listening and doing it.
I mean, some of the Pistons would come down, and we would end up dividing the players up with 4-on-4 against some of his players after a basketball camp. And I remember cutting to the basket, and Irvin threw me a pass. I didn't think it was going to get there. I didn't think he saw me. And he threw a pass, thread the needle, and I caught it and went up for the shot and missed it. And he says, "You missed my dime. You missed my assist. I won't throw you the ball again." But you know something? If a guy's open, he cuts, he can't help but throw you the ball.
He was a natural leader from the first day I ever saw him.
Rebound, White taken away inside by Hoffman to the big man. Johnson lays it up and in.
A local reporter dubbed him Magic after Johnson poured in a triple-double at Lansing's Everett High School as a 15-year-old.
To Johnson. He jumps from 15 and in and out. He got his own rebound and he scores.
Fred Stabley Jr. saw Irvin play when he was a sophomore in high school and said, "Irv, we got to give you a nickname." And there have been very few nicknames in sports that were more appropriate.
Ironically, Magic Johnson didn't plan to be a professional basketball player. He wanted to go to college and major in communications, hoping to one day become a sports announcer.
The parents always wanted him to come to Michigan State, but they weren't going to make or try to influence Magic's decisions, so it was his and his alone.
He wanted to stay close to home for college, but was leaning toward the then stronger basketball tradition in Ann Arbor.
University of Michigan had a tremendous team and in fact played for the national championship that year in an all Big Ten final against Indiana. So a lot of people weren't sure whether Irvin was going to go where he could win immediately or where he was going to go where his heart was.
It would have been a tragedy and a travesty for him to leave that area and go to Ann Arbor to play basketball. The community was so much behind him. He belonged right there.
Now in comes Judd Heathcote. And Judd takes a little while to get to know him, to understand him, to appreciate him.
And you know, there was a trust factor where he trusted Gus Ganakis, the former coach, didn't really trust me because he didn't know me. Michigan had convinced him, since he was the tallest player we had, he'd have to play center. He didn't want to play center. I told him, I may be a hayseed from Montana, but you're going to be the point guard. You're going to run the club. You're going to run the fast break. That's all he wanted to hear. And so, whereas mine might have been at Michigan for a while because they had an established program, his heart was always at Michigan State.
Once you get that Spartan in you, I guess, you know, it can't come out. And then they got some good ball players and a great program that's coming up, and I want to be a part of it, you know, and hope, you know, that we can go ahead and win the Big Ten next year.
It wasn't like he was joining a team of non-players. We had a good nucleus at Michigan State. And when we signed Jay Vincent, his crosstown rival from Eastern High School, we were going to be a very good team. Now, of course, if we could land Irvin, we were going to be a great team. We were going to be a team capable of winning a championship, a national championship, and that's what we wanted.
In 1978, the 6'9" freshman was larger than life in East Lansing. On the court, he was a power forward in a point guard's body, averaging 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 7 assists per game.
When smaller guards see a big guy handling the basketball, you know, they begin to salivate because they think they can just go up and easily take the ball away. They couldn't do that with him.
So when you look at a guy at 6'9", you're not supposed to be able to play point guard. Not only did he play that position, but can go down as the best point guard ever in the history of playing this game.
Magic quickly formed a unique chemistry with teammate Greg Kelser and earned the respect of the rest of the Spartan team.
Anytime you're a guy who can get up and down the floor like I could, and move without the basketball like I could, relishes the chance to play with a guy who can deliver the basketball like he could.
He penetrates, gives it to Kelser.
Oh, yeah.
Kelser stuffs it.
The weak side. Roby was there, but a great catch and play by Kelser.
The pass to Kelser.
Oh,
what a feed into Kelser.
Not only did Magic revolutionize the point guard position, he and Kelser defined a new brand of basketball.
Well, I think a lot of teams would use an alley-oop now and then, but we used it as a consistent offensive weapon.
I guess you could say we pioneered the alley-oop because we were able to punctuate it with a dunk.
High alley-oop pass. Kelser has the run shot.
It's more or less of a instinct thing where he'll look at me and he'll break up high real quickly, and if this man is on him tight or overplaying him, he go right back, and I just throw it, and it always works.
Here it comes, the alley-oop to Greg Kelser.
The Spartans finished the regular season 23-4, which was good enough to win Michigan State's first Big Ten title in more than a decade and send them to the NCAA tournament for the first time in almost 20 years.
You know, we were young, but we really thought we were good enough to win the title that year. We swept through our first couple of games against Providence and Western Kentucky. And then we came up against Kentucky, which had been ranked #1 all year and was the favorite to win the championship.
Here's Macy, first shot of the game. And he's got it. Kyle Macy.
Kyle Macy and the Wildcats controlled the Spartans, and the Mideast Regional game ended in a 52-49 victory for Kentucky.
To only manage 49 points in that game, I think, is a testament to the fact that we were not playing our brand of basketball. We really played more to Kentucky's brand, slowed it down, became conservative, and it was our undoing.
Well, he's wanting them to be man-to-man, but he wants the proper matchups out there. Somebody, I'm sure Judd would like to have a timeout. Joe Hall knows that he doesn't want to give him one.
And my assistant, Don Munson, still says to this day, if we'd done a better job of coaching, we'd have won that game and we'd won the national championship. And I have to agree with him.
The loss couldn't tarnish a remarkable year for Magic Johnson. He was the first freshman in Michigan State history to be named All-America, but it did have a profound effect on his future plans.
I think what it did, it kept Magic with us for another year. He felt he hadn't proved anything. He didn't want to go and play at Kansas City that had the first round draft pick.
He chose to stay. He already had the letter written. It was sealed. Chose not to mail it. Came back to Michigan State.
Maybe it set the stage to prove something the next year.
The stage was set, and what Magic Johnson was able to achieve in his sophomore year would go down in history. The greatest stories of Michigan State basketball will return after these messages.